Hello and welcome to Kicking Tires. My name is Jimmy and this is Justin. And today we're going to talk a lot about car stuff, car news, car topics, auto discussions, anything about cars, and maybe a little bit more. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good. Let's have some fun. A lot of news this week out of all over the automotive world, actually. America, we got some Euro news. And yeah, let's get started with our first topic, which is the Tesla Model S and X refresh. Model S, you want to go?
Yeah. Well, of course, the biggest thing is not the exterior of it. I mean, it looks exactly the same as it did before, really. Just the front bumper was tweaked, the wheels and black trim rather than chrome, kind of like the Model 3. So not huge. But the thing is, it's the inside. This is a big change on the inside here. What do you think of this amazing steering wheel or
I'm
not so
doubtful it
much a
will
wheel?
come into production. I mean, I know the car can probably park itself because normal day-to-day driving, that 9 and 3 is going to be just fine, but it's when you have to parallel park or whatever and you're, hand over hand, you're missing this whole top section of wheel. I'm kind of skeptical it will come to production, but who knows, right? But realistically, if the car's going to park itself, that doesn't even matter. You can embrace that technology, and self parking's been around for long enough that it's really good and it's faster. And honestly, I think I'm a decent driver, and most self parking systems can park better than I can. Um, I'm not against that wheel, actually. It is a conversation topic. One thing I don't like about that wheel is there's no branding on it. It looks very generic. It looks like it came off of like an arcade game, one of those you're flying a rocket or something like that. Like it looks like made in China spec. Like I can see the buttons, they look like Tesla buttons, but overall that shape, there's not that much kind of brand identity to that, and I think that's a miss on Tesla's part. If you're going to go outside of the box with something like that, you gotta make it a big deal.
Yeah, so I was looking at this and I was trying to dig up some more information. Apparently, there has been some leaked photos that has a regular steering wheel as well.
Mm,
So it may not all be like this yoke style flight simulator type steering wheel. Which, you know what? To your point, yes, most of the driving that you're going to be doing is 3 and 9. But here's what I think. I think Tesla engineers are going to make it so that you don't actually have to do hand over hand in this. So in a parking lot situation, maybe like a 90-degree turn or something like that is full turn. You know what I mean? Like it's not
adjust the ratios or something.
exactly as you're driving because I'm sure it can do that. It's an electronic rack.
I wonder
Maybe
what the visibility is like too, because now you have this
everything.
real estate. You know how a lot of times you can't see, oh, my turn signal on, whatever.
Well, I mean, you don't
Yeah,
have to see your turn signals. They're on the steering wheel. There's no
right.
stalks. All the buttons are on the wheel itself. So like you absolutely can steer, like see all that information.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
overall, I mean, this car's been around since 2012, and the shape is basically the same. In my opinion, it's the best looking Tesla in the range still. Especially if you want to scroll up to that front bumper, it's really nice. It's a little bit
yeah,
lower. The older one was a little bit rounder. It doesn't go quite as low. This is sportier,
yeah.
and it's a gorgeous car. I think it's still very good looking, but 10 years almost, and we're running the same design.
So
That's yeah.
so something that a lot of people aren't talking about is the X. The X itself
Right.
is also changed. Similar style front bumper, similar interior. One thing that actually Elon tweeted was the fact that the vehicle will guess the drive direction based on obstacle, context, and nav maps. You can override it on the screen, but the vehicle is going to guess if you need to drive forward or back.
I don't know. That's quite a bit of AI intervention there. Yeah. I mean, full self driving, I think is the way of the future, and I'm looking forward to it. It's just, we all like to drive, but commuting is not, you know, with traffic,
Commuting's not driving.
it's not enjoyable. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
What do you think of the new screens?
new screen, every comment I've seen is, oh, this is gonna be great for the kids, but I think it's a little bit useless being down there. I mean, it's so low. Your kids are gonna have to look like this. I think a headrest monitor makes a lot more sense for passengers in the back,
Right.
just because of where it's positioned. It's great for probably like I think you can control like maybe climate controls, heated seats. That's perfectly fine. But actually, as an entertainment device, it doesn't really make sense in that spot. I feel.
Yeah.
Um,
I kind of feel like it should pop out, kind of like how
Yeah, flip
Audi
up.
or
Or
BMW
even the
has it.
old my old XC90 had a screen in the armrest that could
Yeah,
flip
that
up
actually
like
flips
that.
up. Yeah.
And having that extra 6 inches or so of height makes a big difference. Especially for people sitting not in the center, but if you're sitting on the left and right sides of the car, that's
Well,
gonna be good.
one thing we didn't talk about just yet is the performance of it, because the Model
Yeah.
3, there's three variants. There's the dual motor, there's the Plaid, and the Plaid Plus. 189,000 Canadian dollars, or actually 190,
It's
190,000
a lot of
Canadian
money.
dollars. It's a lot of money, but oh, this was adjusted. 0 to 100 was under 2 seconds before,
Right.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's 2.1. Yeah, everyone was saying it was
Hmm.
not confirmed.
Or
Even in
was
our
that 0
notes.
to 60 that was under 2 seconds?
Oh, that extra 1.5 kilometers. Huh,
Yeah,
maybe good
maybe,
point.
maybe.
Yeah.
But it's quite impressive. Like 837-kilometer range, under 2 seconds to 60. That's insane.
Yeah. For a car that, it's kind of understated and people will commute in this thing. It's not, flashy sports car or anything.
No,
Yeah.
just 9 second quarter mile. I mean, there's full on drag cars like
Yeah.
12, 13, 1,500 horsepower. That's going 9 second quarter mile. This is going to do the same.
I wonder if that's even I remember there was a rule about if your car runs below a certain speed, you got to have a roll cage in it
Right.
or something.
So
It's like, can you even take this to a drag strip?
Le-
Because, yeah.
legally, you can't take it there because it's too fast.
Hmm. I wonder if they will allow Teslas in there. Yeah.
Who knows? Well, I think that's really all I got for the Model S and the Model X. What do you think?
Yeah, that should be. Yeah, we're pretty covered on the Model S. I mean, it's really not that big of a change on the outside, but underneath, it's how do we think? Grand scheme of EVs, are they just not doing enough to shake things up? Having, we already know these cars are fast. Making it faster is, that's not really the selling point. Uh, if you're shopping for your premium 6-figure electric vehicle, are you wanting to get into this or into maybe one of our other topics this week is the Porsche Taycan. Um, you know, what are your thoughts on that?
I
Like,
I th- I think Elon made the Plaid Plus
mhm.
just to kick it to Porsche.
Yes, because they were claiming, they were doing Nürburgring testing and all that.
Yeah.
But one of the things that everyone's ragging on Tesla for is, you don't have an interior that stacks up to Taycan. Not even doesn't even hold a candle to it. And you have just making it faster is not going to. For me, it's if I'm shopping in that range, I'm not racing anyone in this. I'm not seriously tracking these cars. And even though the range is legitimate, when you do go ludicrous mode or whatever, Plaid plus mode, your range is not really sufficient to run a track day without maybe charging in between sessions and stuff like that. um, and yeah, I think making it just a nicer car to be in overall, like a Taycan, um, I think that's kind of the way to go. The
I'm
range is amazing, though.
I'm
Yeah,
curious if it can do repeat like launches and track like actual laps
right.
like the Taycan can,
Yeah,
because the three performance as well as the S with the ludicrous mode that we currently have, you launch it a few times and that's it. It can't continue
yeah,
because it doesn't have that, just the power and the cooling, everything. It just
right.
doesn't have that compared to what the Taycan can do. Taycan can do it all day long.
Yeah,
Well,
and that's
unless
always been Porsche's philosophy with their launch control, with their PDK, is to build something that that's the thing, right? The number sells, the number in the headlines, that's what makes the headline. But in reality, that's always been Porsche's thing. Is we've always had sports cars that they show them drifting and on the track and stuff, but you go to a track and the car that consistently lap after lap holds up with the heat, with the brakes and everything. Porsches never fail on the
yeah.
track. And I think that's something, I'm seeing this actually in April, in one of our track days, local track days here in Mission. We have a whole group of Model 3 performance, and those variants, I think almost 10 of them signed up. So there's going to be a big part of that field. So I'll see how that turns out. I've never been to a track day with a bunch of Model 3s, but I'll let you guys know how that turns out.
That'll be
If
interesting.
they might just run in the morning and then just afternoon, which, you know what, people do that too, like with gas cars, because you're just tired by halfway through the day and then you don't want to run. But now you have an excuse because your car is overheated or ran out of range. There's no charging station at Mission Raceway, from what I know. The
It,
Ridge does.
it's okay. Just bring a trailer with a generator on the back. And
I actually thought about that because I do have a trailer, and at the Ridge there is a charging station, and most tracks actually do have somewhere to plug in at least slow charge. Maybe you can get home or across the street or something. Um, but because they are legitimate performance cars, their handling is there, and the power is there, and you just need tires really. And well, they come with decent tires. And I mean, EV performance cars, that's a reality now. But I'm wondering how these track days will go. I haven't. Yeah.
yeah.
uh,
Well, that's actually a perfect segue, four-door performance car, because that's exactly what our next topic is.
right.
Let's move right to it.
Old school, traditional, just muscle. And this kind of set the benchmark for four-door
So
large track sedans for a while.
you want to know something funny? I was on Instagram finding all these pictures of M5 CSs.
Mhm.
BMW USA Instagram replied to two different people asking the same question. What does CS stand for? In one reply, it was club sport, and the other was, I think, it was competition something.
It's the
E-
competition S.
Essentially, there was two different answers that BMW USA found, and
So
it
they don't even know.
they don't know what they have. But I mean, this is gorgeous though. I love how this looks. It's lighter than the stock M3 or standard M3, or sorry, M5, not M3. It has carbon brakes, carbon roof, carbon hood, and these bronze accents on the green. I love it. I absolutely love how this thing looks.
It's true. I mean, BMW is trying to make this light bronze, light gold kind of color work. They did it on the M2 CS as well. I'm wondering how this color, or if this bronze is going to make it over to the rest of the color range, because I assume the M5 CS is not going to only be available in this frozen deep green color. It works on this color for sure. How many people are really going to buy this color, and how well it will work on the other colors, I don't know.
Yeah, it's I think the green and bronze, they go hand in hand.
The
I
red is a
mean,
little bit off.
the,
What we're looking at right there.
yeah, it's not great here. I think this is probably the worst part of it. But
Yeah.
as someone that doesn't own a green car, because you keep forgetting that you own a green Miata,
Yes.
it the bronze and green works. It truly does.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
tan interior would be nice too.
Ooh, a tan interior. But I think a tan interior just sets a age tone that that the M5 CS isn't about.
It's not that classy,
Yeah, because like
you know.
these seats, these seats are not for someone that's
Look
of
at the side
age.
bolster on the lower, like
Like
by the thigh. That's
this here.
ridiculous.
That is let me just expand that a little bit. That's not a bolster, that's a fucking handle.
That's just gonna get destroyed though. Imagine buying one of these 2, 3 years down the road. That thing is
Oh,
gonna be destroyed. Like people are gonna have duct tape over it, like a drift car, like black duct tape over that section.
I yeah, the outside bolster, yeah, that's not gonna hold up over time.
I
It's
know,
it's
and
just
it's
not.
not necessary, really. Like, let's see the
Well,
rear seats.
I mean,
That's more
if
reasonable.
yeah, but these are the rear seats. Do you need like half buckets in the rear
Oh,
seat?
everyone loves this though. I'm on some, M groups. I have an M2 myself, and a lot of people are they're just like, oh, have you seen the rear seats? Have you seen the rear seats? I think the rear seats make sense. With a luxury sedan, no one really wants to sit in the middle, even though it's quite big. And I think those rear seats, they're a nice touch. No one's ever going to use them. How well they are going to work for your child seat videos, I wonder if that bolstering is going to get in the way. Um, you
I
know,
I don't think it's gonna work.
it's not. It doesn't look child seat friendly. And imagine with the rear facing seat scratching up that carbon, the
Oh,
gloss carbon back on there,
this
or your kids.
beautiful carbon work. Yeah,
Yeah, or your kids just kicking the crap out of it. It's gloss is it's an interesting touch, and I always like the holes in the seats though. I don't know, all the competition or the CS cars get them, since the F80s. I love that, how they have the little thing you can tickle the driver if you wanted to. I mean, realistically, that seat still weighs quite a bit, but the weight savings on this car are phenomenal. I mean,
230 pounds lighter.
and the total net weight, what were we at, 4,000, just a little over 4,000 pounds, which for a massive sedan with that kind of power, that's impressive. 4,000 pounds, it really isn't that much. That's E39 M5, the one that all car enthusiasts are supposed to appreciate. That one was almost 4,000 pounds, and this is double the power and way bigger
Yeah,
inside. I remember getting into one of those E39s, and it's just like I couldn't really get out of the back seat. It's just so cramped.
and
Uh, yeah.
yeah, it's still the same 4.4 twin turbo V8, 635 horse. I mean, I had that same engine in the M8 competition just
Mm.
recently, and the M8 competition, wow, that it's so quick. It sounds amazing. You put it onto two-wheel drive and it's legitimately scary to drive. Like, I mean, the two-wheel drive mode is just for you to do dumb things. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It really is. You
Should
leave it
be
on
street legal.
4matic plus, or sorry, not 4matic plus. My bad. Wrong company. X Drive Sport, and I mean it sends enough power to the rear wheels where you're still able to have fun and still be controllable. Like that's really what it's for. But I can't imagine, you know, something that's even lighter and apparently it should be more agile. Just I just want to
Yeah.
drive it. I really do.
Yeah, I think the weight is just incredible. Like I'm looking at it right now. It's only about 100 pounds more than that E39, which is just astounding. Like carbon roof, carbon treatment. It's no gimmick. BMW, for example, I mean, a lot of people ask me, they're like, "Oh, the M2 is the best BMW they make," and I think they all watch these videos on YouTube and they're like, "Oh yeah, this harkens back to 2002 and stuff," and I'm like, it's decent. It's a half effort, in my opinion, because looking at the M4, which has all the carbon and weight saving goodies that the M2 doesn't, we're looking at pretty much identical weights for a bigger car, and it's impressive what they're able to do nowadays with high strength steel and all the different materials that go into these cars. I do like this front end a lot. I think it does more to differentiate from your basic M550i, and I mean it better because it costs double of that
Yeah.
M550 that you reviewed. But I think that's one of the things we noted when you came by with that 550 was just like, okay, well, what's the point of an M5 at this? It's the
Yeah.
same base engine, and I'm
Same.
sure you could
Yeah.
tune it up. You
Yeah.
know,
There's definitely tuning companies that will do
get you over
quite.
600 quite
Oh yeah,
easily. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Uh,
But one thing I this may be just me. I just think this platform is getting old. Like
yes.
CS, it's going to be the last hurrah for it, right? They're going to have a new model, and we know this. Every next model is going to be better than the previous one.
Good
So
point.
uh, it makes it hard for me to love this, knowing the next gen is going to, like, not even the next gen M5, the next gen M550,
550.
it's going to be better than this because the current M550, it's so much better than the previous M5,
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
We
Um,
know this. So, I mean,
that's
every
always the
year
case with
BMW kicks themselves,
CS.
right?
Yeah, CS. That's the same thing. The M2, they did the CS, knowing this is the last year for the M2. Uh, we don't have anything yet for the new M2. I hope it's not some kind of
It's
Grand
going
Coupe
front wheel
front-wheel
drive.
drive. Yeah, yeah, that's that's the fear, right? And they haven't been doing that well with that chassis so far with the new Grand Coupe. It hasn't caught on quite as well as Mercedes front drive base AMGs have.
Yeah, the
Uh,
CLA, it's amazing. The CLA.
yeah, the 35 already is a huge upgrade, and then the 45 is next level. But yeah, the M5, M5, yeah, the Nurburgring and the headrest. Holy crap! I
you you need to know where it's from. A
yeah,
sticker on the back window isn't good enough. You need it on the headrest.
it's stitched into headrest. Do we have a picture of that somewhere on this?
Yes, it's in one of these.
Oh, oh,
Wait, wait, there we go.
oh. No one's ever gonna take it there. I mean, maybe those ring taxi companies. Who knows, right? Yeah,
Maybe. I mean, it's 4 seats is perfect. It's bucket front and rear, kind of designed for it, right?
you know what's funny though is that this seems like more of a legitimate track car than any of BMW's coupes. Like
Yeah.
their big coupes, like the 6 Series. Do they still make? They still make a 6 Series, I
What?
think.
How long have you not been on the BMW website? The 8
They
series
have an
took over the
eight.
6. There's no more 6.
They had a six Grand Coupe that like it came and went, and we just no one bought it. And when I
A
picked up my
friend of mine
M2,
has
that
one.
was there. Not the previous generation.
No, the
The
one that
one
just
that
killed.
this one is like that this
Yeah,
one is based on.
a friend of mine has it. Then they
And
regret buying it because they hate it.
yeah, and I mean looking at the M8, I don't see that M8 as a legitimate performance car, but I do see the CS as one. And so that's kind of interesting, I think, is their
You
four
gotta
doors are
open
just
your
so
eyes.
much more desirable than their two doors. You know, I would take an M3 over a 2 or a 4 right now with the F80s. And well, the new one, I
That
don't
grill.
want either of those. Yeah, we're lucky with this grill. This, all these collector people. They're always like, "Oh, this is the last of the this. This is the last. This is the last M5 that you're gonna have a reasonably sized grill on." And so
And
we
that's why
gotta
you
buy
should
it.
buy it.
That's why you need to buy it.
Yeah,
They
the
kept themselves restrained. Yeah,
the E60 was the last one with a V10. The
yeah.
E39 was the last one with a good old fashioned V8, and this is the last one with a reasonably sized grill.
Reasonably sized grill. Yeah, that's their selling point. Is this is us before we've gone crazy and like, just still have some common sense. And the grill that 99% of people hate. Yeah, we're going with that for the next generation. Like, yeah,
You know what? I think in like 10 years, I'm not talking about the meme of how everyone's seen, 2022, it's going to be the entire grill as a car. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, like, it's going to be bigger. Like, I'm sure you've seen the new Avalon. That thing has an enormous grill.
right.
No one has really complained too much of it because no one sees an Avalon on the
No
road.
one buys that. Yeah.
But I think, honestly speaking, in 10 years' time, we're going to look back at the current M3 and M4. We're going to be like, that's not bad. Because by that time, it's just going to be
I don't know. It didn't like. So the Sienna's got a massive grill, just like the Avalon.
Yeah.
It works. Like it's not offensive, but for something to offend, not just car enthusiasts and purists, whatever. I can't imagine even BMW like salespeople or anyone like even just within their company alone. What is the approval rating? Oh my god, the yellow. This one.
I think that's a little tough to see.
Look at it next to the F82. It's just, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, this
mm,
grill is a big flop, I think.
yeah,
Moving on to other BMW group news.
yeah. Let's close that off before I hurl here.
Yeah.
Yeah, another BMW group has the other side of the BMW group announced a new car. The Mini.
New.
Not so new. Air quotes new because this new Mini is more of a refresh than anything else.
Right. It's been around since 2014. 7 years, that's usually, a life cycle of a car. I think they're going for that Beetle thing. They're trying to drag out that first new Beetle for a while. And yeah, I think it's a little bit. They've changed the grill on this one too. And in my opinion, it looks like a Fu Manchu. You have kind of this, what do you call it? Like a handlebar mustache.
The website doesn't want to load. Oh, there it is.
There
All
we
right,
go.
there's the
And
grill.
you see it just surrounds. And okay.
I don't know why it's not loading, but anyways, there it is. Okay,
There you go.
The
It just looks so silly. Like he looks so confused, like shocked, like, like
wait a minute. I just noticed something. This is a Mini Cooper S because it has the S distinction on the front grille, and it has those wheels from the electric Mini.
Right, the UK wall plugs.
I wonder how much wheel weights they need to use to balance this wheel. Like, it doesn't look very
even.
Like, I'm sure in the back they hollow out the same, the mount and whatnot, but it just doesn't look like it's very easily balanceable.
And the thing is, that motif does not translate to the world. I think even if you grew up in a country where your wall plugs look like that, you don't really identify that. It looks like a T. Like it does not look like a wall plug. I think that's what they were going for, at least.
It definitely looks like that because that's what it's about. It's an electric vehicle that plugs in. I guess what it is here is it's an S model for the electric, because that's on the back. It has a.
They did that with the i3 as well. There's the i3S. It looks a little bit sportier.
Let's not talk about the i3. That's just a It's sad. You know what? It's fine. I do like the roof.
The
This
gradient
like
roof.
color gradient. It looks amazing. This looks like when I was using word art back in like the early 2000 on Microsoft. You know, you remember word art. You always use it on your title pages. That's exactly the same
Yep,
color.
that gradient. And it's also on some Samsung smartphones.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it doesn't. Uh, Imagine having to fix that. Imagine
It-
you're the body shop in charge with dealing with the hail damage on the roof. Oh, we gotta repaint it.
no, at that point you just you get a wrap at that point. You don't paint.
Right. You
That's
you slap
it's
a Union Jack on it and call it a day.
yeah, but like, hey, I
Uh,
customized it for you. It's better now.
Speaking of the Union Jack, there's just so many of those. Like in case you, well, I mean, it's really not a British car anymore. I mean, this is a BMW interior through and through.
Yeah.
Um, let's get yeah. So those taillights, I love them. I think they're a nice touch, but it is a little bit disingenuous to say the least.
Do you want a German flag on the back of them? Is
Ah,
that what you're saying?
I mean, red, yellow, and we could make something work. I think. Yeah, because not everyone is such an Anglophile. You know, imagine driving this. You know, in some countries like Argentina or you know, I mean, not the whole world is obsessed with um, just British notion. I mean, really, we just want a charming small car, and you know, we don't want it to be kind of. We want it to be inoffensive. I feel like
Is
it's
it
just a
small
car
though?
that's it's not very mini at all. I mean, the 3 door is still okay. The 5 door is just it's a monstrosity in my opinion.
What about the Countryman?
Oh, the Countryman is nice. I like the Clubman and the I like the big small minis. I mean,
Was
yeah.
it the Clubman that was a two-door but that was lifted?
The Clubman had the first the earlier Clubman, the second gen had the
Yeah.
suicide door on one side.
Okay, not the Clubman then. There's
The
one mini
Countryman is the lifted one based on the X1.
Paceman. Paceman is the
The
one.
2 door coupe Aztec thing.
That's the one you like because you're weird like that. You love that. You'll love the Paceman.
Yes, and I will lift it and put some all-terrains on it. Yes, but this mini, yeah, it just doesn't charm me. I think this is it's worrying because mini's gone down this path where you know we just had the GP3 come out. That was a total flop. Uh, Way too expensive and just underperforms, you know, against a Golf R, Civic Type R. These cars have been around for a while and they couldn't even come close. The original GP of the previous generation that was beating the you know they were running those against legitimate sport cars on the track and it was outrunning them. And this GP3 has just been those fender flares are a joke too. Like Mini is apparently those fender flares just catch rocks in them and they don't actually
Do
push the
anything.
car any
Yeah.
wider. It's like
Do
that wing
you
is stupid.
do you know why there's a divot in the middle
I
for the
do
wing?
know, but you can tell the audience.
So if you don't know, in the Mini GP, the wing is massive on the back, but there's in the center, it's like a divot. It's like a channel. It's like a canal in the
It's a
middle.
crack.
It's it's a crack. But the crack is to accept the antenna because when you open up the wing, there's no good photo of it, but Jason Camisa, amazing writer and automotive like historian, I would say he is at this point. Oh, this is you can kind of see it here, but essentially the the antenna it's right in the middle on the top. So when the wing goes up, the antenna slots right in between that crack. It's
There's no reason for a modern car to even have an antenna like that. And maybe it was a styling. Maybe they intended for.
I mean, it kind of has that like, I mean, there's some supercars that have that kind of center
Yeah,
like
yeah.
structural point, but I truly believe this is like, hey, there's a hole in the roof on the Mini. We can't patch that hole. It's too expensive to generate another like completely new roof for the
Mhm.
Mini. Let's do something different. Why not put a crack on
Right.
on the middle of the wing?
But yeah, going back to this new refresh for the Mini, if it's going to stick around for another 4 or 5 years, I don't know what the future holds for the Mini brand. I can't imagine them doing well. When this generation first came out, it was kind of universally disliked, I would say, for being the ugliest Mini yet. I think if you stack it up to the first the
This
first
one.
new first BMW Mini,
Oh,
that looked good. Though the second one looks great too. I think well they're right next to each other, and then yeah with the third gen we're just it just got so big. It just got so bulbous, and I think universally, like people did not see well to that car. The 5-door variant again is I don't know what they're thinking. Like it just doesn't have the same charm as before, and I think that's really what the point of the Mini brand is. Otherwise, I'll just get a BMW.
I mean, you can't buy a Beetle anymore, so the only logical choice is a Mini.
I mean, there's a lot of cute cars out there. I mean, you can look at Hyundai. I mean, they've got a few, you know, charming looking cars. GM, I think Ford's got some funky, bubbly looking cars. They don't have the
Ford has no cars.
right. They have their little SUVs that are kind of
No one wants to buy the
quirky.
EcoSport.
No, yeah, not in Canada, not in Canada or North America. But how do we like those stripy wheels? A little bit trippy.
It's I will love to see this while they're rolling.
You know what they should have done though? They should have twisted it, and so when it's driving, it would just people would look at it and just like get hypnotized by it because that's just gonna look like it's like a dartboard. But if you just like add a little bit of twist to that, I think it would be perfect.
I think if it was like twisted, it will actually hypnotize people. I think that may be a problem.
Yeah. Credit where credit's due. This generation of Mini drives great. It's very solid. And it's been the most reliable of all the minis because they're finally like, we're an engine company. Let's use our own engines in it. Let's not use a Chrysler or a Peugeot engine because those are vastly inferior engine companies than BMW themselves.
Actually love how the 3-cylinder sound.
Yeah, they're
The
all
base
solid.
model with an exhaust, it sounds amazing.
Exactly, and I think there's strong points on the engineering side for this car. It's just styling wise, it just misses the mark a little bit for me. It's not. I'm not sold on it. I want to buy this car as a fashion accessory, and it just isn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to buy a fashion accessory, why not have the highest recorded top speed?
Yeah, might as well get a plane, but might I'm not sure which one is cheaper, but are these cars even for sale, the SSCs?
I honestly, I haven't looked into it. I just saw there was big news that they had a record. They broke the record
Right.
of the speed run, 2.3 miles, 280, I think, average miles per hour was the
Uh-huh.
speed. It it's insane. Yeah, 282 is the average. It's insane how
On
fast that
four
is.
wheels, yeah. How much ground you're covering in 1 second. SSC has always been kind of vaporware to me. I've seen it in that Asphalt game that comes for free on your Apple TV. uh, and what else did we have Asphalt on? Maybe PSP back in the
I
day.
think
Maybe I'm
so.
dating
Yeah.
myself a little bit. Um, but yeah, it's just like it's actually a pretty good looking car. It reminds me of the Pagani, the Zonda with that rear 3/4
It
section
looks
there.
like a more curvaceous Zonda.
Yes, and it's cleaned up a little bit. It's an attractive car, I think. Um, I don't know what the purpose of its existence is. They don't seem like they're interested in selling them. I don't
It's
know if
just
any
to beat
dealers.
Bugatti. That's that's
Okay, from this angle, it looks a little bit off. From the side angle, it
It
looks
just
a
looks
little
like
bit.
a
The
wedge.
camera guy, it's hilarious because the camera guy couldn't keep up with his panning, and they're just like, "That's it, we can't." Like they just
Wait,
gave up and they uploaded this to their website.
when you're going 280 miles per hour, it's hard for the cameraman to catch up. Okay,
I like how they just gave in and they're just like, "Let's just put we can't. That's the best one of our batch."
I mean, I think it kind of looks like a car from Grand Theft Auto. That's what it looks like to me.
Yes. Does anyone really care about top speed records though?
It's bragging rights.
It's nowhere near as appealing. It doesn't have that everyone wants it like a Bugatti Chiron or Koenigsegg, whatever that
Yeah,
camless
tho-
engine cars.
those you park it in front of a hotel to make it look good. That's
Right. But
that's
if
what
I'm
those cars
looking to go over 250 miles an hour, I can't see myself. I can't see the point for this SSC. I mean, the Bugatti goes faster, no?
So this is in 2.3 miles.
Ah,
Like because they had to do the record run, it's within the 2.3 miles.
a
Um,
runway. Yeah.
Technically, this should have a higher top speed. They did try last time, but the equipment was off or something. It wasn't a full actual
Wasn't
record.
certified.
Exactly. And because of that, no one knows. But it's said that this should be faster than the Bugatti.
Those taillights remind me of the Model S.
Probably just taken right off of it.
I wonder.
I mean, I mean, when you're a small company like this, you're not making your own parts for everything, so
No.
it's very likely to just rehouse the taillights. Kind of. Let's go to Porsche.
Right, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, and this is the Taycan base model. So no ass, no turbo, although none of them really have a turbo, but
It's
this is the purest form of the Taycan.
you know what, I love how the Taycan looks.
And you know
It's
what's cool about this one is looks just like the other ones. Even though it's the base model, it
yeah,
looks just as good.
there's nothing that really makes it look much different. I
Right,
mean, yeah, the wheels are a little different, but I think that's really it.
right.
It's definitely slower. It's only rear wheel drive. 0 to 100, I think it was 5.4 seconds. But I mean, look at this body shape. Look at this body line. It's a 911. It's an actual, this is what the Panamera should have looked like.
There's so much sex appeal to this, and I think it's an important move for the world, for Porsche to put this out there. It makes you want an EV, and it just yeah, because there's no room for vents and like aero stuff, so that's why this car looks virtually identical to the turbos and turbo S. And Porsche always gives you the option to put whatever wheel you want in their lineup on their base model cars, so you can always get the base model Boxer with a turbo S 21-inch wheel if you wanted to. And so that's always been cool with Porsche. Rear wheel drive only. People are saying it's not coming to Canada.
Oh, that's
I
upsetting.
I think so, and it makes sense. I mean, here we don't see it quite as much in Vancouver, but it doesn't make sense to get such a high power rear wheel drive out east. So they will automatically. There's no point bringing it in for their inventory, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, a lot of vehicles in Canada, like, for example, like the Honda Pilot, standard family SUV, only comes in four-wheel drive here. RDX only comes in four-wheel drive here. MDX only comes in four-wheel drive here. But in the States, you can get them as front-wheel
Mm,
drive, and plenty of other vehicles you can do that as well. So it makes sense that we only get all-wheel
right.
drive or four-wheel drive versions of vehicles because that's what
Yeah.
people here in Canada wants. Because apparently it snows all the time.
Right. And the base price is quite a bit more affordable. I think this is the 80 something US is where it starts. That's kind of nice. You don't get that little screen on the right side with the base model You have to option for it. But as with any Porsche, again, you can option it back up to that same spec. It is cool. It is cool. I don't know. Everyone, my passengers don't touch my controls, but I guess give them their own screen.
Yeah, I don't want you to touch my screens.
Yeah. How do
Let
we
me
feel
buy a
about all that?
screen for you so you
Yeah.
can touch your own screen.
I know, and just the fingerprints are gonna drive me nuts, though. I mean,
Well,
when
that's why
you
you
turn
have
that car off,
it says fingerprints all over it. That's
yeah,
why you have hand sanitizer on the side, microfiber everywhere. It's just to
I
clean things
know.
up.
And look at that leather dash. Like, I like how they were able to incorporate that Porsche quality fit and finish
Hmm.
with a very futuristic design. This is the first one. This is their first real attempt at an EV, and I think it's promising. They're not in that Tesla range for range,
No, definitely
but
not.
for under 100 grand, like that's solid.
I like it. There's
We
something
have
about
time
it
for
that I
one more.
absolutely love. Yeah, yeah. Let's go to the last thing here. This is the Hyundai Tucson N line. Something a little bit more affordable today. I mean, we talked about very expensive cars, but this one is okay.
I mean, realistically, you and I love cheap cars. Like,
Yeah.
I think those six-figure hot cars don't really get us excited. The N line, it's a cool spec. It's different in North America, as you mentioned, compared to what the Europeans get with their N line. But yeah, it's a good looking car. Where does the Tucson compete directly with? Because
So the Tucson is like the small SUV. So or
is it quite
it's
a RAV4 though? It
it
feels a little
it's
bit.
it's RAV4, CRV, CX5, that kind of size. But like it's weird because we always say CRV and that it's a small SUV because they were. But
Mhm.
if you look at it today, they're really not.
No. Yeah, and I mean, the CRV seems bigger than this to me, and the new Rogue is just it's ginormous inside. And it's so boxed off now. That doesn't look like it competes with this Tucson, from what I can see. This one with a slope back, it's not. It's somewhere in between. Maybe more like a what's that, Qashqai?
CX30,
Yeah,
Qashqai, yeah. There's kind of like the mid-size of the smaller subcompact, like the
yeah.
CX30, the Qashqai or Rogue Sport if you're in the US. There's also um, what else is in that market? The
See,
Trailblazer from Chevy.
yeah, Trailblazer. Yeah. No one's buying that. I don't think I've seen a single one. I think they're popular overseas in Asia.
Yeah,
There's actually is a market for those. But how do we like these headlights though, with the
I,
with the shutters and
I it looks like Kanye, like his sunglasses.
yeah, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know how this will age. Like, this looks like a concept car from 20 years ago.
Mm,
That headlight design, that's
yeah,
kind of how I feel about it. The rear is very Mustang.
yeah, yeah. I
Like
see
the
it.
Mach E kind of looks like that. And then
I
yeah,
mean, it has some cool body lines though, like this trapezoidal kind of arch here. It looks good.
it does. I mean, this is super competitive segments. What are we getting with the N line again? I forgot.
So the N line is a visual update. So it's the exact same performance as the regular Tucson, 2.5 liter, 187 horsepower. Nothing special there. You just get the N like version of the good looks. So in other parts of the world, there's a full-on N variant, which is going to
The
have a bigger
turbo.
engine, exactly, and just it's more aggressive. It's like the Type R, if you will, of Hyundai. But the N line, when they put line behind it, it just means that it looks like that. But
Like the Audi S line back in the
yeah,
day.
exactly.
Yeah, they don't really do that anymore. Let's look at the interior on this thing.
There's no interior photos on Hyundai themselves, but if I do a little bit of Googling, let's see, Tucson and oh,
Yeah, I do think that shape is very Venza of that headlight, just having it kind of like a L shape, upside down L shape. Uh,
so here's a, oh gosh,
that steering wheel is funky.
let's see if I can open this up a little bit more here. It's, hmm, I don't know.
Not in love with this interior. I think they had something good going. Look at that upper section, looks great. A lot of styling there, and then just the middle is just it's a square. Like it's the most boring of shapes. I think is a square, and worse yet, it's a gloss black square.
Gloss
Yeah.
Gloss Black has his place, just not in a car where things get really messy really quick. I
Yeah.
I
And
don't
you
know
know,
about this.
ironically, this car is the most overstyled car in its segment. And then you just, it's just a block there.
Yeah, it's definitely not great. Here's an actually brighter picture of the outside. It
Right.
looks I mm,
It's very interesting to look at.
I
The
I
old one
don't
was very clean, but
I don't like this is the old one. It looks
yeah,
fine, but
it's
I
very
mean,
cohesive.
you block the badge and it could be anything.
It could be a Ford, could be, yeah.
I just don't know about their new direction of
Everyone is
like
going with
angler.
this black roof thing too.
It's the hidden roof so that you can't see it.
And yeah, it would have been cool for someone to, just take ownership of that and be like, okay, that's our thing. That's Nissan. We're doing that. The Mach-E's done it. It works really good at hiding that bigger trunk of the Mach-E. This one, I did it on my RAV4. If that counts, I got mine wrapped like that just because I want to fit in with all these new SUVs. I don't want to look like I'm driving the 2017 model.
Well, I think that's enough for today. I think that's a good look
Yeah.
at all these amazing vehicles and some maybe not so amazing vehicles. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, let's sign off. It's about time for your, yeah. Let's meet again next week and we will discuss. I
well,
think there's some big news happening.
yes, there's definitely a lot of big things happening this week. So yeah, we'll talk then. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great day.
See you.